Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome. So glad that you could spend the day here. I know we're getting close to the end of the day, but I got a lot of good stuff to look at today. First of all, it looks like everybody on the way in has been grabbing a sheet. Are there any left on the table? The one that says, "Husbands, be strong and courageous." The one that was left there from beforehand actually would be a nice couple for you. It's about Christian parenting, and even if you didn't get to hear that session, it might be worth just taking a look at some of the passages and things there. In fact, Pastor Johnston led that group, and I got to hear that this morning, and he did something that I thought was a good idea, and that was to give a disclaimer. I am not standing before you today because I have figured out how to be the perfect Christian husband. I am a broken man, I'm a broken husband, I'm a broken father, and many of you may do this very much better than I do. But what we want to do today is ask God how He can guide and direct us. And I'm going to try to have a pretty decent balance between theory and practice. The theory will be, what does God say in His Word to direct us as Christian husbands? The practice will be your part. I'm going to do more asking questions than giving answers. I'm going to challenge you to come up with your own answers, and I'm going to invite you, when you're comfortable, to talk to the men that are sitting around you. We can learn a lot from each other. Some of them may have lots of experience, and I know in my last session I had a couple of guys that were just engaged or not yet engaged and just looking into the future. So we have a lot to learn from each other. But my challenge to you is to make this as personal as you can for your marriage. And the more practical you make it for yourself, the more valuable it will be as we go. So we're going to start with a little bit of theory. And that's, I want you to ask yourself, what kind of husband does your wife want you to be? And I'm going to give you, now in my last session, this is where most guys weren't ready to share quite yet. So that's okay if you just want to do this on your own. But what kind of man does your wife want you to be? And you might think about the things she wants you to do, and maybe you think about both. Now, to be fair, this doesn't mean that you aren't already that kind of man. So feel free to put down things, this is what my wife wants, and I acknowledge that I'm working hard to do that. Am I there yet? Am I perfect? No. But there's some things I'm on the right track. Of course, the easier thing might be the list of things that she tells you that you're not doing, and you can feel free to put some of those down too. So I'm going to give you just 45 seconds or so to think about that, and again, you make it as practical as you can for yourself. What kind of husband does your wife want you to be? Next question for you is, what kind of husband do you want to be? And so in this case, again, there might be things where you say, well, this is what I've been thinking about this before. This isn't the first time I've ever thought about being a good, faithful Christian husband. Here are some things I'm doing well, and here are some areas where I think I can improve. And then we'll see just for yourself, are there differences in your list? So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to do that one. All right, so the next question that is on your sheets is, what kind of husband does Jesus want you to be? And this is where we're going to dig in a little bit together this morning and ask God, how does He direct us? And so one of your first assignments is going to be to come back to these questions later on. So when you get home today, or the first time that you get to see your wife, my challenge to you is to ask her the first question. Honey, what kind of husband do you want me to be? That's the easy part. The hard part is then be quiet and listen. And don't respond, because your natural response is going to be to defend yourself and to try to prove to your wife with all your passion that you're already doing that, or at the very least you're working on that, and you're this great guy and you chose me for a reason, didn't you, honey? Because you knew how great I was. But just ask her the question and then let it be quiet. And if you feel the need to respond in any way, walk away, go into your bedroom, go into the bathroom, close the door, and start praying to be whatever she said.